lost interest in a girl because of her hoe face. I male have this friend. She's nice looking, outgoing, funny. We met in school and hit it off as friends. We hung out together or as a group, or me and my girlfriend with her and her boyfriend a few times a week. We have never really been single at the same time, so I never really noticed her romantically. I mean, I noticed she was attractive, but never thought of her romantically. I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend, and a few months later, she broke up with her boyfriend. Well, because most of our friends are paired off at a time, we ended up hanging out like 4 days a week. I wasn't aware I was starting to catch feelings for this girl until someone pointed out I stopped dating and approaching other women. It really hit home when she went on a few different dates, and I noticed I was jealous. So I sat her down and had a chat. Told her I have noticed recently I was becoming interested in her. I absolutely hated seeing her go on dates with other guys and wanted to see if us dating would be as cool as our friendship so far. First, she smiled. Big, happy, excited eyes. Then something happened. Her smile turned unsure. She explained she had thought of it as well and is interested in giving it a try, but not to the end of the summer. Confused, I asked why the end of the summer. She explained she was in her hoe phase, her words, and she wanted to have a summer of fun before she settled down. The rest of that day was awkward. I cut things short. When she asked, I told her we were fine. My pride was bruised a bit and I was feeling disappointed. But not to worry, we are definitely still friends. I have to admit, the second she chose potentially random hookups and getting run through for the summer over a relationship, all romantic feelings died. I wasn't mad at her. She did nothing wrong. But the way I viewed her had changed. She was forever in the friend zone for me. I took a few days, put my big boy pants on, and we started hanging out again. But it was different. I only saw her as a friend, and I only was interested in seeing her every now and again, not all the time like before. I started dating other girls again. I had no hard feelings. I genuinely enjoyed being around her, only like before when we both had partners. Anyway, one night we were out as a group. We all had a few drinks, and she says, "Hey, good news. Summer's almost over." Oblivious to what she meant till later I say, "That sucks. I love summer." Then I got distracted by other conversations being had. I did notice she was cold towards me the rest of the night. October rolls around. She wants to do lunch, just her and I. We meet up, having a great talk. We talked about our summer. She used this to steer the conversation to us. She wanted to let me know she was ready to settle into a relationship and wanted to go back to our earlier conversation. I told her it's cool. I valued our friendship and think we should stay just that, friends. She wanted to know what's changed and would not let it go. So I had to be honest. I told her that her choice to put me on the back burner for hot girl summer was hurtful. And I feel like if she actually liked me, she would have wanted to be in a relationship with me. She said she knew we would be the real thing, and she needed to get through her hoe phase to give us an honest shot. I let her know the fact she felt we could have been something, and she still chose potentially to get run through by a bunch of strangers instead of starting something real. Tells me she doesn't feel about me the way she thinks she does. I accept that, and stayed friends with her with no hard feelings. But the second she chose to put me on the back burner, I lost all romantic feelings for her. Forever. Because it feels like she was shopping around all summer and settled on me. And I am nobody's backup plan. She got mad, stopped talking to me. Our friends think I should apologize and give her a chance, but those feelings just aren't there. What do you think? Am I the a-hole? I should probably add a timeline. This was last summer. We have seen each other around, but she avoids me if she can. The reason I wrote this now is because a mutual friend and I were talking about last summer, how the fall went, then pointed out she is still single and asked me recently if I have/would change my mind. I don't think they were asking for her because they said she still thinks I'm an ass. Now for the top comments. Because it feels like she was shopping around all summer and settled on me, and I am nobody's backup plan. Just explain it like this and no one reasonable will have an issue. I asked her out and she said no. Until after summer, then she said yes, but I already moved on. There isn't such a thing as reserving a person for a relationship. Simple as, person do whatever they want. If you rejected them but said maybe won't reject you later, yeah, that's still a rejection. This ain't a restaurant or a doctor's appointment. Who does she think she is? Why would she think he would just be available at the end of the summer and open as if nothing at all had changed? Because she is either selfish as hell and thus unaware of anyone's feelings but hers, or she pegged him for a simp who would be waiting in the wings for her like a nice doggy. Possibly both. Respectfully, she put you on the back burner for summer flings and you decided not to wait for her to come around. Not the a-hole. I would consider adding more distance, as she had clearly little regard for you and your feelings. It's not even about the hoe phase or summer fling specifically. It's the claim she really liked him too, but still put him on a back burner. If she just said she wasn't sure and wasn't looking for anything serious right now anyways, things could have turned out differently. If like OP, she started feeling jealous after seeing him date others. But she basically said, I like you too. Here is a timeline of when we will start a relationship based on my own selfish desires. See you then. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my girlfriend's girls trip? Alright, I, 27 male, need some outside perspective. My girlfriend Sarah, 25 female, and I have been together for 3 years. Recently, I won a bet on stake and ended up with a decent chunk of spare cash. Naturally, I was pretty stoked about it. Been thinking about putting it towards something fun or maybe even a small getaway for the two of us. But here's the thing. Sarah found out about my winnings, and now she wants me to pay for upcoming girls' trip with her friends. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Sarah and I want her to have fun with her friends. But I'm feeling kinda weird about using my winnings for something that doesn't involve me at all. I suggested that she could save up for a trip, or maybe we could split the cost, but she wasn't having any of it. She thinks I'm being selfish, and that since we're a couple, my money should be our money, especially since it was extra cash from a bet. I see her point, but I also feel like I earned it and should have a say in how it's spent. Sarah's friends are backing her up, saying I'm being a jerk for not wanting to support her. I'm starting to wonder if I'm in the wrong here. I do want her to have a good time, but I also don't want to feel like I'm just a bank. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to pay for my girlfriend's girls' trip? Not the a-hole. So your money is our money. What about her money? Ask her if she will fork out for a boys' trip for you. I second this motion. Just say you're leaving me a little shortchanged on a trip I was planning. Can you help me out after? See what reaction you get then. But not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She certainly is though. You guys aren't married. She's a big girl. If you want, you could give her a little spending money. But she's super entitled. Red flag. Be careful. Thank you. I'll heed this warning. Yeah, absolute red flag. I wonder if she wanted a chunk of money, would she give it all to you to spend on a holiday with the boys that in no way involves her? I suspect not. And it would be unreasonable for you to expect that. And it sounds like her friends are either being dishonest with her or are also a-holes. Stand firm, tell her it's a no and calmly explain why. Her reaction to this will ultimately show you who she is. Why Sarah's friends are backing her up. Why they are made aware of your financial disagreement. It's the fact that she got all her friends to defend her that's the red flag for me. If you have a dispute with your spouse, that gets handled between the two of you. Sure, you might vent to a friend about the details and get their opinion. But saying, all my friends think you're wrong, is just manipulation. She's not giving any heed or understanding to his argument, and is just trying to guilt-trip him to get her way. Why not ask if she's willing to support the both of them while he quits working to follow his dreams of basket weaving? It's all our money, right? Next story. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend to split the hotel cost after she invited her friends without telling me? So I recently took my girlfriend Emily on a weekend trip to a popular beach town. I booked a nice hotel room for us to enjoy a romantic getaway. Everything was great until the second night when Emily invited her two friends, Lara and Kate, to hang out with us. She didn't tell me they were coming, and I was a bit surprised but went along with it. Things got even more awkward when they decided to crash in our hotel room because they didn't want to pay for their own. I was annoyed, but didn't want to cause a scene. The room was crammed with 4 people, and it definitely wasn't the romantic getaway I had planned. The next morning, I told Emily I wasn't comfortable with her friends staying for free and that I felt they should chip in for the room. Emily got defensive and said it was rude to ask them for money since they're her friends. I argued that it wasn't fair for me to cover the entire cost when I only planned for the two of us, and she invited them without consulting me. Emily eventually asked Lara and Kate if they could help with the cost. They were taken aback but agreed reluctantly. However, Emily was still upset with me. saying I embarrassed her in front of her friends and that I should have just let it go. When we got back home, Emily told our mutual friends what happened, and now some of them think I was being unreasonable and cheap. Others think I had a point and that Emily should have asked before inviting her friends to stay. Am I the a-hole for asking my girlfriend and her friends to split the hotel cost after they crashed our romantic getaway? Now for the top comments. Not a-hole, but your girlfriend seems to suck. It's abnormal to invite friends on a couple's holiday, and even worse to expect them to be able to share your room. Exactly. And what's worse is her getting upset and blaming me when I think it should be other way around. 100%. Flip the script. How entitled would you feel if you brought your boys over to crash the romantic weekend she planned and paid for? You would probably never consider doing such a thing. Now think, she's actually getting upset at you? It's so selfish and rude of her, and so disrespectful to you. If she feels she's able to do this, take a look at what else you are subsidizing. Drinks, dinners for other friends too? Not a-hole. From what you said, you were the one paying for this hotel room, not your girlfriend. Lara and Kate aren't your friends, they're Emily's. So they're getting to stay in a hotel room off of your dime, not hers. I'd personally feel super uncomfortable sharing a hotel room with the friends of my girlfriend when my intention and plan was to just have a romantic time with my girlfriend. I'm not sure how long you've been dating, but frankly, Emily's decision to invite them without consulting you and subsequent decisions and reactions to them staying in the hotel room with you were disrespectful. She's more concerned about being embarrassed, a situation she put herself in, than she is you not being taken advantage of. I don't want to suggest breaking up, but keep her behavior and reaction in mind for the future. Indeed, and I don't know if it's right, but I think I should be the one who should be a little upset with her for ruining our date and not the other way around. You should be more than a little upset. You planned a romantic getaway. Why did she invite her friends? I am guessing she is not into you. Either that or she is an immature party girl. Either way, probably time to move on. I mean, usually she is very helpful, kind and caring, compassionate towards me, so I think she is into me. This is, you can say, one-off instance, but still, like you guys said, it's not my fault. You guys are great. Thank you all for your advice though. But she sure did try to turn it all around you, didn't she? She was being helpful, kind and caring to her friends, not you. She straight up took advantage of your kindness. I almost feel like you weren't enough, so she invited her friends without asking you to have a better time herself. Her behavior would concern me greatly if I were you. Yeah, I'm keeping this in my mind, and it might help me to make that decision later with much weightage. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex-fiancé's affair partner's wife about their relationship? So, a few years back, my 40 male fiancé, 39 female, and I were talking on the phone. She was a flight attendant and not home very often, and she brought up breaking up because I deserved someone who could be there for me. I didn't want to, but after a few days, I agreed to split up because it was apparent that this is what she wanted and was on the way out already. It broke my heart. A few months later, she called me to talk, asked if I was seeing someone. I had started talking to someone, and she said she was getting to know someone as well. Turns out, it was a male flight attendant she worked with. A few months before we split up, I had confronted her about this coworker. As soon as they met, they started going out to eat, getting drinks, scheduling flights together. She'd talk about him all the time, etc. I'm normally not a jealous man, but I felt like there was something going on there. When she told me she was with him, I lost it. I confronted him, and he said he knew nothing about me, and that they had began getting to know one another the same day that she insinuated that we split up. How ironic. So I asked her for the truth, and she continues feeding me lies. She says they're not together, just getting to know one another. Nothing happened before we split up, etc. BS. Anyway, I catch her in a number of lies, including the fact that the guy is still currently married. I gave her an opportunity to tell me the truth, and she again lies to me. Frustrated, I contact the guy's wife and tell her all about the situation. The wife says that it all makes sense now. Her husband was getting called up for unexpected flights quite a lot recently and was withdrawing hundreds of dollars each time. She wondered what it was all about, but now she knew. Her husband was cheating on her with my now ex-fiancé, who was apparently living a double life as a prostitute. Turns out, they were only getting to know each other's anatomy, and she was getting to know others as well. My ex flipped out on me. The wife filed for divorce and lots of painful revelations were made, including the fact that she was never faithful to me and was moonlighting as a sex worker. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Cheaters deserve to be exposed. It's one of the worst things you can do to someone you supposedly love. If the relationship is bad, leave before you go looking for someone else. Don't even monkey branch. Actions have outcomes. Hope they enjoy the outcomes of their actions. I also hope the wife reported her soon-to-be ex to HR. I agree. I legit loved her up until these revelations, so it was hard to deal with. Not the a-hole. Yikes. It sounds like you dodged a bullet and saved a man's wife as well. I agree. I found out she was cheating on me with a pilot the entire time we were together. Had a fairly lucrative side gig, as I mentioned in my post, etc. But yeah, definitely dodged a bullet. Funny thing is, she was the one who pursued me initially, said she wanted to date with a purpose. I bought her an engagement ring, etc., but she kept pushing off planning for the wedding. It really sucked, but I'm glad I didn't marry her, knowing what I know now. If someone says they want to date with a purpose, it usually means that they habitually don't date with a purpose, and this is a new goal because they are tired of fooling around. But this is a new goal, and old habits die hard. Definitely not the a-hole. I hope both you and the guy's wife got STI tests done. Your ex is literally a garden tool. Be happy you found all this out and that you did not marry that person. Also, hope you got the ring back. Block her everywhere and never have contact again. Also, don't get serious with people you rarely see in person. That's a recipe for disaster. Fortunately, I did get tested and was clean. Completely agree with you, long distance isn't good for a relationship. Man, you're so lucky you didn't get married and have kids together. She was using you and would have continued to do so. I completely agree. Just before this, I sold a house and bought/get a car to come to the airport in when she visited. She got me on that one.